Welcoming you to a life of awareness, the Presence Projects is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kersner.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kersner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. I want to welcome you to the here and now. And I want to thank you sincerely for taking some time out of your day to listen to this podcast. I chose a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. It's certainly something that I have been working on and continue to work on. And it's something that I've seen in a lot of my patients and clients that I coach. It's resistance. We tend to innately resist many things in life. And we do that because of emotional states of being, usually fear. So the topic for this podcast is acceptance of the present moment. Because ultimately, acceptance is what will keep us in the present moment. We can set aside whatever fears and concerns that we have, whatever experiences we're trying to avoid that we're ultimately recreating, by accepting them for what they are. In the past, in previous podcasts, I've talked about acceptance. I've talked about clarity and seeing people and places and things for exactly how they are. And that's the ultimate definition of acceptance, is setting aside our preconceived notions, our beliefs, our worries, our fears, onto different things, and taking a step back and accepting them for exactly how they are. Exactly who they are and exactly where they are. There can be no exception to this rule because we can't delineate between what we need to accept to be in the present moment and what we should kind of accept and what we shouldn't accept. There has to be a blanketed acceptance of whatever is, whatever shows up in that moment. Because however that moment is unfolding, it is perfect the way it is. It is our lack of acceptance that interferes with that present moment. And so I'd like to give you an example of an issue that I've faced over the past few years that I've created a lot of resistance with. And I've had to really come to terms with the fact that I have created a problem for myself which could have been alleviated and resolved if I had just accepted it for what it was, for what it is. As a licensed acupuncturist and a small business owner, one of the biggest issues that I've faced was building a client base. And one of the issues that really concerns me from time to time is when my schedule clears out a little bit and things slow down. Now, any business owner, small business owner will tell you that there's an ebb and flow to business. Sometimes it's seasonal, sometimes it's weekly, daily, but there's a flow to it. It's hard to accept when you watch your schedule clear out and you hope to be busy. It's hard to accept when you start to look at the financial aspects of it and see that, there might not be enough money. There might not be enough patience, whatever it is. And so fear comes forward. And you get into this space of resistance where you start thinking, maybe it's not going to work out. Maybe the people won't show up. Maybe it just won't happen. And you start to believe it because resistance creates more fear and fear creates more resistance. Over the past 3 years, I've had the good fortune of having these experiences and learning from them the hard way. And had I really thought about it, I would have understood that I needed to accept every moment for exactly how it was. Because the truth is, at this point, when I have only a few patients in a day, or maybe I don't have any patients in one day, that's a day for me to do whatever it is I want to do. That's a day for me to go to the gym, run errands, be with myself, maybe make a couple phone calls, whatever it is. But if I am to accept it, I am to understand that it's okay. It's going to be okay. Things are going to change. They're going to get better. Things are going to pick up. But the only way that that's going to become possible is if I accept whatever is wholeheartedly, without fear, without hesitation. If I understand that that moment is okay, it's okay for things to slow down a little bit. As long as I keep plugging away, as long as I keep doing everything I need to do, as long as I keep providing the best service that I possibly can, that everything's going to work out in the end. And you know what? It always has. And it always will. And so I need to keep reminding myself of this and catching myself when business ebbs and flows, just like in life. There's always going to be an ebb and flow in life. Whatever facet you want to look at, there's going to be good times and there's going to be challenging times. But the one guarantee that you can always rely upon is that things are always changing. And if you allow life to change, then it'll change in the most beautiful of ways. If you resist life, you will only create problems for yourself, and things will only become more challenging. So it's important for all of us to look at the many challenges that we have at any given point in our lives, and to think about it for a second and say, is there any facet of this challenge that I am resisting? And if there is, you need to start looking at that a little bit more in depth and say, well, why am I resisting this? What's the problem here? Am I creating this problem for myself? 9 times out of 10, you are. And it's a really good experience to see how you're interacting with that moment, how your acceptance or hesitation or rejection of that present moment creates either a smooth flow or challenges. And so I wanted to take time to address this topic because I believe it to be so important. We have to get into a state of acceptance. And not only do we have to get into that state of acceptance, we have to stay in that state of acceptance and understand that everything is going to be okay. It really is. And even if the moment doesn't feel good, even if your schedule is clear, or even if your schedule is super busy, whatever it is, everything is constantly changing. And as long as you can come from a place of acceptance and love and belief, then everything's going to be all right anyway. You just have to take a step out of your own way. I do hope that this information comes to you at a time where you can use it, where you could take a step back and look at some of the challenges that exist in your life and ask yourself, am I creating these problems because I'm not accepting whatever is? Because I can guarantee you that if you can enter into a state of acceptance, if you can accept the present moment for exactly how it is, and not inject your own fears, your concerns, your worries, that everything will unfold in the most beautiful of ways. Before I get going, I want to just invite everyone to visit our website, www.areyoubeingpresent.com. Join our Facebook group, Are You Being Present? And please listen to our podcasts on iTunes. And if you get a moment, please leave us a review. We would deeply appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Projects. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.